Blues Matters at Notodden Blues Festival. I have here piano maestro Mitch Woods.
Hi. Nice to see everybody.
How's it going with you over the festival?
The festival's great. He's working me very hard, though. I established the Mitch Woods Club 88, which is the piano bar that I do on the legendary Rhythm and Blues Cruise. We're establishing it here in Notodden, so I'm playing quite a bit there, and it's a piano bar, but we invite everybody to sit in. So all my musician friends who I know here, I invite, and they come down and sit in. A lot of fun. And then today I played the Blues Cruise. They do this little boat cruise on the lake.
Yeah.
And that was a full day of that. It's all good, though. It's all great.
What's the backstory to your piano playing? Why did you choose the piano? A brief history of why you chose the piano as an instrument of choice.
Okay. So when I was a young boy, my mother, who was a single mom, would hire the superintendent of my building to take me to school, like first and second grade. And he was a black man, and we stopped at his cousin's house once, and I heard somebody playing boogie piano. And I said, I want to do that. I would love to do that. So fortunately for me, my mom married my stepdad, remarried, and he went out and got us a piano. And that's what got me started on boogie woogie, really.
Right.
Although I started on classical and eventually got into the blues and boogie woogie. Yeah.
And when did you first know that you wanted to be a musician in the first place? What chose you?
Well, when I was in college, I was going to the University of Buffalo in New York, and I would jam around at all the clubs. I was starting to sit in, and people said, oh, you sound like the old boogie woogie guys. And so then I researched, and I found all the records on the greats, Meadlux Lewis, Albert Ammons, Pete Johnson, and I'd play along with them. That really got me going, and around that time, I decided I would be a musician. With a little help from psychedelic drugs, but we won't talk about that too much.
And what's been the pivotal moment in your career?
Pivotal moment where?
In your career?
My career. There's been a lot of them. I'm 74 already. I've had a wonderful career. And one of the greatest things to happen to me was recording with the Fats Domino band. And I have my CD, Big Easy Boogie, which I started to write. I would go to New Orleans is my second home, so I spent a lot of time in New Orleans. And I was starting to work with a lot of Fats Domino's sidemen. And I started writing songs in that vein, and I thought, well, who would be the best band in the world to play with for this would be the Fats Domino band. So fortunately, I was able to pull them all together, getting Earl Palmer on drums, Herb Hardesty on sax, who was the original sax player, and Dave Bartholomew came in and helped produce it, who was Fats's producer and co-writer. So that was an incredible experience, really, and we all became friends as well. So that was a real pivotal moment, I would say.
And what do you prefer, if you prefer anything, playing at festivals or intimate piano bars?
I love festivals, and that's right now I just concentrate on playing on festivals, either with my band, the Rocket 88s, or solo. So I like them both. I always love to play with a band. It's more fun. But I can do the solo thing really, really well. I know that. And in the right situation, like here, it's really great. So that's how it goes, yeah.
And do you find any difference between the audiences in Europe and America?
I do. What I found is they're more enthusiastic here in Europe. And then I just played Brazil, and talk about enthusiastic. Wow. They were really enthusiastic. I mean, just the best audience I've ever had. People going crazy. Like, I played in audiences of 30,000 people, and all of them just going nuts. So, and I think in America, people are a little spoiled. They think of blues as maybe bar band music, some of it. So the festivals are good. When you play a festival in the U.S., it's good, but the club's not as good as that.
And what's your take on the blues? What does the blues mean to you?
Well, there's so many varieties of blues, and of course I've chosen what I love, which is jump blues and boogie woogie. And I'm trying to keep that alive. I think I'm one of the few people who are doing that. Roomful of Blues has done that over the years. And it's just such a great era of music from the late 40s, early 50s. So that part of blues I really love. I love all aspects of it, but for me to play, that's where I focus on.
And what's the best advice you've had in your career?
Best advice?
Yeah. If you can say.
Best advice, get a job. Actually, my advice, I've always been fortunate I could make a living as a musician. And I didn't think when I started that would be the most you could do, at least do that. So I always would say to young musicians, try to make a living at it. Try to do it, not as a part-time thing, but a full-time. And the other thing about that is if you're playing 3 or 4 times a week, you're going to get better and better and better. So you want to be playing professionally as much as possible. And nowadays it's very difficult, more than when I was starting. But I think that's what you have to do. Try to make a living at it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many different platforms now to listen to music. How do you get your music out there?
Well, I've produced my own CDs for years and years, ever since the beginning. And I've had different label contracts and put out on my own label. But you just want to get it out there however you can. And if you have to do it yourself, especially now, you can do that.
What's it like producing yourself independently?
Well, you have to have a little bit of money to fund it, but you have total control over it, and you come out with a really great product. I've always had each project I've done, I had a vision of what I wanted to do, and I was able to organize it, and I know all the great musicians, and I've got a lot of friends over the years, like my album Friends Along the Way.
Yeah.
Morrison, Taj Mahal, Charlie Musselwhite, Elvin Bishop, Marcia Ball, Ruthie Foster, everybody was happy to play with me, and I just asked them, and I was able to put it together.
Are you working on any projects just now?
Like I said, I'm still working off of Happy Hour, which came out this year, and we got great airplay for a long, long time, and it's all my original songs. So I'm kind of working on that still. I don't have a recording project in the wings, but I might have a autobiography coming out.
Ah, you might.
Well, I've been working on it for some years.
Right.
And this summer, or just a few weeks ago when I was in Greece on the beach, I started reviewing a lot of my old manuscripts, and I've decided I think now it's time to put it out. So I might have to add a few more chapters and get it out there.
And just the last thing about songwriting, do you have a technique at all?
As far as songwriting, and I was talking to your friend about that, you get a title, somebody says something like, the blues is all right, and then a song can kind of come from that. So you get the first title, and then usually the song comes off of that. It's where it works best for me. And then musically, I like the old frameworks of jump blues and boogie woogie, and so I fit it into that.